everyone in Jamaica knows someone who knows Bob Marley.
Right,
you know
right.
what I mean?
Okay,
Like
yeah.
it's kind of like Drake here. Like everyone says, you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
know this person who knew Drake back in the day or whatever. Yeah.
I've been to his house.
I've been to his
thing.
house.
Yeah, I've seen him at the club.
Exactly.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Cloud Machine podcast. My name is Mat Landry, and in this 5th episode, I'm with Trent Hurst. Throughout this podcast, we'll discuss Trent's current position as Black Music Marketing Coordinator at Universal, Synch and Licensing at Peer Music, and his grandfather's legendary label, Ram Records. We also discuss the creation of impactful playlists. Thanks for listening. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Cloud Machine podcast. For those who are new to this podcast, Cloud Machine is about the music industry and its stakeholders, meaning everyone that works in it, lives it, loves it, and surrounds it. Our goal is to shine a light on roles, peoples, and realities of the music industry that are often forgotten or taken for granted. Whether you're someone that's dreaming about making a move in the industry, have some songs recorded and don't know what to do with them, or just a listener that wants to learn more, you're at the right place. This week, and in recognition of Black History Month, I have the immense pleasure of welcoming a good friend and inspired music industry peer to the podcast. Trent Hurst is a multi-hyphenate music industry facilitator from Toronto, Ontario. After graduating from the Creative Industries program at TMU in 2021, he started working at Peer Music as their creative coordinator, working with songwriting catalogs, metadata, and licensing. After finishing his contract with them, he quickly shot up the ranks at Universal Music Canada's Black Music Division, now working with some of the most present and important Canadian R&B soul and rap artists of 2023. For more information and to get in touch with Trent, you can get in contact with him at Trent Hurst. That's TRENT_Hurst, HURST on all socials, or on LinkedIn at the same name. So without further ado, please welcome Trent Hurst.
Hey, what's up, Matt? What's up? Thanks for having me.
Man?
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Of course.
You know, we love to have people like you on the podcast. You know, we graduated from the same program at TMU, and just want to shine a light on what you're doing because I think it's so great.
Appreciate that.
Let's start it off. First question we always ask everybody: your favorite live show or experience as a fan, and in your case as well as a music industry personnel. So we can do one at a time.
Okay. I'll start as a fan. I think the first one that comes to mind right now is Dave. When Dave came to Toronto I think it was last May. That was one of the best shows that I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
Because he was playing piano, he was playing guitar, he was singing at points, and I didn't realize how talented this guy was, just being like a UK drill artist when he first started out. But he's multi-talented. He's actually phenomenal live.
Was that a history?
That was a history.
Yeah, I think I saw you. I think you were at my picnic, my birthday party picnic, the day after.
Exactly.
The day after, or even the day of, even.
Yeah, no, it was probably the day of. Yeah. That was actually one of the best shows as a fan.
Yeah.
Recently, like I could probably think like my first show.
Yeah.
Like I saw Kendrick Lamar when I was like 13. That was sick.
Yeah.
Because that was like the Good Kid, Mad City era.
Yeah.
I've seen Prince before he died, but like you know what I mean. Like recently, Dave for sure.
Because he was like. You didn't know what to expect.
Because he surprised me. Yeah. I just went in there like a fan, but not as big as a fan as I thought I was.
Yeah.
And he just was so talented. And I realized the craft, how seriously he takes his craft. It was crazy. Yeah. Cool. And then as a industry professional, I guess I'd say Jessie Reyes, because she's just such a down-to-earth person, and the level of commitment, talent, and getting prepared for those 2 back-to-back shows was crazy. Like I've never seen anyone so amped, so ready to go, so humble all at the same time. Like her parents were there in the back, just giving everyone food and everything. I was like, this is the best family I've seen in my life. Just beautiful people. And
was that recently? Yeah,
that was when did she come to Toronto? It was at History in November.
Okay, yeah.
I want to say November of last year.
Yeah.
So that was probably my favorite working.
I've heard so many great things about that camp because my partner Marina played bass for her for a while, and Marina always spoke about, or still even speaks about to this day, about her family, her parents specifically, how they're always on tour with her, and just like the most supportive people.
It's cute. Like her mom's the cutest person, little Colombian lady I've ever seen in my life. But
that's awesome. Yeah, and even her like camp that surrounds her too, like Matt Burnett, a musical director, and that whole team is so crazy. Shout out Chino Davia on the drums as well. Yeah, I think I've said his name so many times on this podcast. And Matt as well. What did you like specifically about that show?
Well, first of all, I love Jessie. Like, the set was crazy. Like, she was phenomenal both nights. Like, she didn't have any lapse consistently for 2 nights in a row. She was engaging with her fans and everything. And just, I guess, going behind the scenes, seeing the family dynamic that we talked about, and then seeing her on stage and how powerful she was and commanding everything. It was just a great experience overall.
Sort of the best of both worlds kind of thing.
Exactly.
Second question that we often ask, or that we always ask now, is just some thoughts on Erykah Badu's quote, which is, and I quote, "Music and music business are 2 different things." Basically asking you what you think about that quote, and what your first instincts are there. So basically like the balance between music and music business, and where you think it's at for you now as a fan for most of your life, but now also as a professional kind of industry person.
I think I have to think about that because in school, like before getting into this industry, it was like music is the art, it's the artist, it's the freedom, and we always thought about music industry as rules, people getting screwed over, like things like this, and I don't really see that, which is nice. Like, I actually love
it's nice
how we work with our artists. I love the relationships we have with our artists, and it's actually nice seeing the meld between music and music business now, and how we allow them to freely express themselves.
Right.
Like, it's not the stories that we heard when we were in university or younger or whatever. It actually is pretty great. Like, we're all working towards a goal to promote this one artist or this one act or whatever it is, right? Like,
we were always told that it was, I agree, like sort of worse than what it is now.
Yeah.
Are there some people at your work or even at Pure Music before that have some like sort of nightmare stories about like how it was beforehand? Because we often sort of hear stuff that how it was before, but it's not necessarily true.
For sure. Yeah, for us, right? And that's, I feel like it's a great thing.
No,
like,
it's a great thing.
I'll say for me specifically, like, I work with a lot of amazing Black people in this industry who have come up, and they've been in the industry for more than 30 years, and they had to go through hoops that I don't have to because of what they did and the barriers that they broke. So that's one thing for sure. Like, the stories they've told me, I've never experienced that, and I can't imagine because of them. They helped me get to where I am. So that's a big thing for sure. Yeah.
So in school, we were often taught about the marketing side of music business, and now having lived it for a year now, what are your thoughts on it now, compared to what you heard beforehand or what your day-to-day is, kind of thing? Like, is it different? Is it a marketing, does marketing rule the music business?
Yes and no, because the traditional marketing that we were taught in school is not really what we do.
Right.
Like, we're more product managers, and the product, like, we're more helping and facilitating between our teams. Like, you know what I mean? We're not we're not doing traditional marketing. We are coming up with ideas, with activations and marketing plans and everything, but it's not in the sense that we're like, it's not like we're not a sales company where their marketing team is very focused on one thing. We have to be multifaceted and like think about digital, think about, you know what I mean? Press and every form of entertainment.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, activations basically are physical pop-ups that either labels, managers, just artists themselves kind of put up in the community, like physical space in downtown Toronto. Do you have one that you remember that like is your favorite activation that you've done?
Favorite so far? We did one for Denzel Curry.
Okay.
Yeah, where we did a pop-up at this barbershop.
Okay.
Yeah, downtown.
Yeah.
It was just a meet and greet for his fans, and that was probably the most fun because he's also a great guy and as a person. Like,
that's great.
Yeah.
It was it before, like, do they happen like when they're here, kind of thing, like mostly?
Yeah, mostly, or around something, around a release, or around like something has to be happening for sure.
Yeah. All right, we're back with topic 1. Basically, your origin story, the spark for your passion for the scene. We were just speaking about where you're from. If you wanted to talk about that, I thought you were from Newmarket, but you're actually from here in Toronto.
Yeah, I was here until I was like 11, actually. And then I moved to Caledon, Bolton.
Okay.
For those who know.
Yeah.
I'm actually repping my my jersey right now.
There you
go. And then I moved to Newmarket, did like grade 8, grade 7, roughly, and then into high school. Yeah.
Into high school.
Yeah. And then until grade 12, literally graduated. That summer I moved back to Toronto because I was like, I don't want to be in Newmarket anymore. Yeah. No offense to Newmarket. Yeah.
Shout out Newmarket.
Shout out Newmarket.
So what sparked your like passion for the scene? Is it family? Is it?
Yeah, it's definitely family. My grandfather grew up just playing music. Like his whole family was musical.
Yeah.
And then he grew up and he started going on tour. He was a session musician, and then he turned into an artist, and he started his own record label back in the 60s.
Yeah.
Which was back in Hamilton. So like if you go back in the history books, you can find all the articles and the pressings and everything, which is cool.
Yeah.
And then while I was growing up, he gave me my first guitar. He would sing with me. He would teach me how to pretty much
do the thing,
right? Yeah. So that was the first love right there.
Yeah. So your grandpa's label, Ram Records.
Ram Records is it? Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about that? I don't know, like how much you know about it. Is it something that was often talked about when you were a kid, kind of thing?
Slightly. Like he passed away when I was 9, so I had 9 years of like kind of learning about it, but not really paying attention when I was a kid. Right. I try to do more research now.
Yeah.
Like I talked to my aunt, I talked to my mom, like everything about it.
Right.
But yeah, it started in Hamilton. They used to just have events, and he had like a couple of his friends signed too, and they all came up from Jamaica.
Okay.
So he was Jamaican. He moved to the UK first, did music out there.
Okay.
And then came to Canada and did the thing. But yeah, it was small. Like it was an independent label. It was pretty small. Not many people have heard about it, but there are some people in this industry like I've talked to who are older, and they're like, yeah, I remember that. I remember records. I'm like, which is crazy because that was just my grandpa, and it didn't sound big to me.
Right. But, yeah. Now it's kind of like coming to life, and like the reality of it is like cool.
Exactly. Yeah. And I've found like we all have a record, me and my brothers, like of the Ram, like the one record he put out under the label.
Okay.
And then also just like the press clippings and everything of him like going on tour in the States and like all over Canada and like under that label imprint, which is cool.
That's great.
So he actually was a musician.
And you have a Ram Records tattoo.
I
right?
do.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. Hey. All right.
Yeah. That was the only tattoo I was allowed to get when I was under 18 because my mom was like, okay, I get that. Like it's for your grandfather. Like that's amazing. But you can't get any more until you're 18.
Do you know the story about him going to the UK? Because in that time, when I think about Jamaica to UK, I often I just obviously think about Bob Marley.
Exactly. I was gonna mention Bob Marley too.
Yeah. So was there influence there? Was
100%,
it running in the same circles?
I don't think there was a direct connection, but everyone in Jamaica knows someone who knows Bob Marley. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like Drake here. Like everyone says, you know what I mean? Like I know this person who knew Drake back in the day or whatever. Yeah.
I've been to his house.
I've
seen him at the club.
Exactly.
I've seen him at History.
That's what Bob Marley is to Jamaicans. Everyone knows someone who's cousin who's, you know what I mean?
True.
But I don't know if they ever played with their band or like crossed paths with them.
Yeah.
But honestly, I wouldn't doubt it because they went around at the same time. Like the 60s, right?
Yeah.
And Bob Marley was always going over to the UK. So
do you know if it was something that was typical for Jamaicans to just go to the UK because Bob did, sort of thing, or is it something like that was just like
maybe
a thing to do kind of thing?
I'm not too sure. I know he went because he was in the army first, and that's why he went over.
Okay.
Like it had nothing to do with music.
Right.
He was in the army first, and then also my uncle, like my great uncle, his brother, had already gone over, so he just followed his brother. That's what it was. A lot of Jamaicans go over to the UK for sure.
Yeah,
I have family there too.
Yes,
my mom was born there. The connection is because England went to Jamaica, and
right,
you know what I mean. Like the connection there is pretty strong.
Yeah, it's not just Bob Marley.
It's not just Bob Marley. It's been like that for a while. And lots of Jamaicans here have cousins in the UK. Like it's like pretty tied. And that's probably why you hear Toronto slang, you hear UK slang, and it's like one and the same because there's a lot of Jamaicans, a lot of Caribbean people in both who did that. Like
that's cool. I've never thought of that.
Both say wagwan. That's Jamaica. That's Jamaican. So yeah.
Dang. Okay. So I guess getting into it, if we're still following the story here, you finish your high school in Newmarket, but you immediately wanted to come to
100%.
Back to Toronto to go to Ryerson/TMU now's Creative Industries program. What do you remember why you decided to go there?
I was gonna go for business.
Yeah.
And then before that, I wanted to go for science and physics, and like it just kept changing in grade 11, grade 12.
Yeah.
And then I saw our program,
yeah,
Creative Industries, pop up, and I was like, oh, this is the perfect meld of business and art, right? Yeah. Which I feel like a lot of people I've talked to in our program have said, right? Like they were gonna do something completely different, and they saw our program, they're like, this is perfect for me. I got in, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. I feel like it's gonna lead to other things, and I can't see myself doing anything else. So that's what that was. Yeah.
And flash forward about 3.5 years later, did you do your internship at Pure Music?
I did it at Universal, actually.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you did Universal, then worked at Pure after graduation?
Yeah. So my boss, when I was an intern, is friends with my boss who was at Pure, and then my boss at Pure is friends with my current boss at Universal.
Okay.
So it literally just trickled down. Like everyone in Toronto and music scene knows, you know that.
Yeah,
everyone knows everyone, right? Like every generation. Yeah. So it just worked out.
Has it shuffled around since then? Like, or sorry, actually, the first question is Pure and Universal connected, or is it through like mutual friends?
Pure's actually just independent. It was just mutual friends, like them working in the industry for the last 3 decades. Like they just know each other, coming up together, right?
Totally. Yeah.
Just like our generation, like we know a bunch of people that are coming up, and hopefully we'll know each other for the next 3 decades, like these people. Right?
No, I think like that was honestly like I sort of realized that in second year. I think that even though we were sort of separated in a bunch of different groups, that even like my roommate at the time, Sam, a great friend of mine, like even if he would be working in visual, like the visual industry or even fashion or photography or whatever, that in 30 years we'd still be connected. So it's sort of like going to school. I mean, it's called the Creative Industries, but it's sort of being like creating those links like really early on. And here we are, and it's scary to say, but 6 years later already.
So oh God, don't do that too. That's actually crazy. Yeah, you're right.
So it's no, I agree. Like those connections that we've made in that program, I think are gonna last for so long.
100%.
But just to come back to Pure, so you graduate from the Creative Industries, and did you know what you wanted to do, or was it just like I want to work in the music industry?
I just wanted to work in the music industry. Okay. Honestly, like I would have done. I wouldn't have done anything, but I would have done most to get my foot in the door. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I actually did another internship. So I did our regular internship for everyone. I don't know if you want to explain for everyone who doesn't know. So we in our third year, we all had to do an internship as a credit. So that was my universal one, the mandatory one, and then I was able to do another one in the last semester of fourth year.
Okay.
Because it was paid. That was the only reason I loved it. So Alex Darcy was like, okay, you can do this. And that was Pure.
Okay.
So when I graduated, Pure just kept me on.
Okay.
And then it turned into a real job.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what were you doing interning at Universal? In what division?
Catalog. So I was doing like the Beatles, like Rolling Stones, like completely different from what I'm doing right now. But that's why I love all genres of music, and it's been nice to work both.
That was crazy. What was it like working Catalog there?
Catalog it's fun. Like I think it's a lot of fun, and it's actually kind of changed too. Like the idea of Catalog now is like Weeknd's first album. You know what I mean? Like that's Catalog.
True.
Or Rihanna's first album.
Reissues kind of
reissues are now Catalog. So Catalog is not just people working the Beatles and Rolling Stones. It's now people working Good Kid, Mad City. Which is cool. Like it's cool projects, cool. Right? Yeah.
So what sort of projects are in Catalogue then now?
Now it's everything from like Tupac's reissues, 50 Cent,
Right.
Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
And
are they promoting, like, what would a day-to-day be at Catalogue? Basically.
Day-to-day. Yeah. Just literally getting the numbers up still and reintroducing these older acts and these older projects to new fan base as they can keep going. As you've seen on TikTok, like kids didn't even know who Fleetwood Mac was until that dude like did the video, right? So that's the working of a catalog marketer, for sure, because you're reintroducing this older music to a newer audience, and it's selling vinyl. Like it's a lot of physical,
some distribution as well.
Yeah, exactly. Jeez. Yeah.
So that's so crazy. Doing like Fleetwood Mac TikToks, basically. Yeah, that's wild.
It is wild.
So Catalogue is sort of branch out of marketing as well. Then
yeah, it's its own.
It's its own.
So there's like frontline marketing, and there's Catalogue, which is backlog.
Okay.
At the same time, there's digital marketing. There's there's all different like tiers, I guess. Yeah.
Cool. So that was your internship.
Yeah.
3rd year internship. Now going to Peer, how was that different? You're working more licensing and sync.
Yeah.
So working directly with artists more than Catalogue at Universal, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Or
no, you're right. Yeah. Because it was we did a little bit of A&R too, because we're signing songwriters. Peer's Music is a large independent publishing company here in Canada. And we're basically, the sync part of it is us licensing these songs to TV shows, commercials, whatever, like the basics. But then we would also actively go out and search for songwriters, listen to all their demos.
True.
And put them together, and a lot of disco links for everyone who knows what that is. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was like my first real taste of working with artists directly and being on these calls with people across the world, because Peer like has offices all over the world as well.
Right.
And it was just a great introduction to the music industry. I loved it, and I thought I wanted to work in sync. Like that was my main goal, right?
Yeah.
Because when I was at Universal in my internship, I talked to one of the sync managers there, and the way she was explaining it, I was just like, this is what I want to do. This is so much fun. This is TV, this is film, and music combined. And two favorite things.
Did you find yourself in negotiations at Peer? Like on the phone or something, or like signing, like aiding artists with like signing contracts and stuff?
Oh, yeah. It was a lot of contractual work.
Yeah.
And that's why I do credit Ehrlich from our business and music class.
Shout out
Ehrlich. Because I don't know if you remember when we went over
my God, dude.
artist deals, right? Yeah. I literally saw these deals.
Yeah.
Well, not word for word, but basically close when I was working at Peer.
Yeah, so. Without the highlighting and stuff.
Without the highlighting and everything, exactly.
No, I honestly like shout out to Noah and Steven. Their class, Music of Business 1 and Music of Business 2 at TMU have helped me so much tremendously. My work as an agent and manager, but also just like reviewing any contract and stuff, because everything is so tedious, and fine print is a thing, and like all that shit, actually.
All that shit. Yeah, we can swear.
Yeah. So I mean, like, that's crazy. What else were some like common activities at Peer?
Common day to day. The creative part was just like making decks, like pitching for songs a lot.
Get comfortable with Google Slides or
Slides for sure. Like that,
Canva.
Shout out Canva. Shout out Canva. Musician's dream.
Yeah, no, for real.
Yeah.
I use Canva on the daily.
Yeah. I know so many people in this industry who love Canva.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah. So that was the day to day, really.
Yeah. Working with artists on their catalog, basically, and pushing those songs to sync to get some opportunities.
100%.
Do you remember of one specific one that is a highlight for you, if you can speak about it?
That I loved?
A sync that
you Peer's roster was great. Like, I loved their artists. It's not what I'm doing right now. It was more folk, alternative, rock.
Right.
Which is great. Like, that's a side of me I love too.
Yeah.
I think an artist who I was introduced to through Pierre was like Hannah Georges, who is amazing, right? Amazing singer.
Oh yeah,
I loved her stuff. And then Claremont II, he was also from the city.
Okay.
Who's more like rap, hip hop based. We also had him, like a deal with him. And I had never heard of him before, and he was great. Like,
you became a fan?
I became a huge fan.
Yeah.
And July Talk, obviously. July Talk is one of my favorite bands.
Yeah.
Even before Pierre, but yeah.
So now, okay. So if we're going from Pierre music to now Universal, how was that transition there? Was it easier because you had previously interned at Universal?
Yeah, no, 100%. Because I already knew most of the people. Because when I was an intern, I made sure I took meetings with every department, every single person I could who would take a meeting with me, so they wouldn't forget me, and I could learn more about what I wanted to do with a label. Right?
That's sick.
Yeah.
Did you get to work with anybody from the black music kind of department there when you were interning?
It wasn't even a thing when I was interning.
Right.
It actually wasn't it was like new, or it started, I believe, when I left, like a couple months after I left. So no one I work with now was there before. Wow. Yeah.
Okay. So do we want to talk about that creation of that department?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know the actual details of how it came about.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful for it coming about. Like, it's necessary for sure. Yeah. We needed a black music department. Yeah. Which was previously in the urban department. Yes. But it recently changed to the black music department, which our team changed because we didn't want to sugarcoat around the word. You know what I mean? Like, we are working black music. Hip hop, rap, R&B. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, call it what it is why the name was changed.
Right.
But no, it's something I've always wanted to do, work with black music. Like, it's something I really, really wanted to do, especially like in these last couple of years. Like, you know what I mean?
Totally. And it's so, for me, it's so exciting. Yeah. I find that, especially in Toronto.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that?
Especially, and it's the only one in Canada, right?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Which is amazing. Yeah.
Should we talk about the black music kind of, how do I say that? Just the powerhouse of Toronto black music.
Yeah.
You growing up here, I mean, what are your thoughts when you hear that? And like, I didn't grow up here.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm a white man. So it doesn't speak to me as much as somebody that would be from Toronto, who's a black man from Toronto. What are your thoughts on, and I talked about this a couple weeks ago with Trippy, but the amount of talent that's coming out of Toronto is so amazing.
It's crazy. And it kind of goes back to the Caribbean thing I was talking about. Yeah. Okay. There's a lot of Caribbeans here. There's a lot of meld of like cultures here.
Yes.
From all over the world.
Yeah.
And it just makes our music so much better. Like, I actually think like Toronto's on the move.
Yeah.
Like,
oh man. It's been on the move.
It's been on the move. Yeah, like even take like the biggest stars that you can think of coming out of Toronto. Like, there's so much talent here.
Yeah.
That is so overlooked, right?
Do you remember? Go ahead.
No. I don't even know what I was gonna.
I was basically just gonna ask you if there were some artists, when you were a kid that you were like, yo, I can't believe they're from here.
That's what I was gonna say.
Okay.
So when I was a kid, where I grew up, Chaos was frequented. My mom would always be like, "That's Chaos." Like,
okay,
he's sick. And I used to listen to Crab in the Bucket Sunday morning on repeat when I was like 6 years old, 7 years old. I love Chaos.
Yeah.
And so that was someone who definitely inspired me, and like I've gotten the chance to meet him now, which is so cool.
That's
like,
sick,
like the flip side. I'm telling him how big of a fan I was when I was a kid.
Did you tell your mom?
Yeah, I told my mom. She was like, "No way, this is sick." I remember when we used to see him in Toronto, because here in like Toronto, like celebrities just like they just walk around. Like
Trinity Bellwoods.
They don't care.
It's the random spot, but for real.
Torontonians don't bother anyone. It's just like whatever. It's not like LA where you're like, "Can you sign this?" You see celebrities everywhere, and like there's hordes of paparazzi and shit. But who else inspired me when I was a kid? Here, Cardinal for sure. Yeah, obviously he's probably the first superstar out of in that genre out of the city.
Yeah, for sure.
Big up Cardi. And Julie Black.
Yes,
all these people that my mom put me onto when I was a kid, because she also like spent her 20s here and grew up here, right? Yeah, just like the talent here is crazy.
Yeah,
And, like
yeah.
going from like sparsely being noticed
Yes.
back in the 90s and 2000s to
Yeah,
where we are
totally.
now is great.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
What about the new talent that's coming up? And I don't know I don't know if there's a ratio of people at UMG that you have to sign from kind of Toronto, I guess. Is there like a I don't know if there's like a percentage or something, or that's in the bylaws or whatever, but is there is there like how do I say that? Is there like the French is coming through.
It's okay. Say it in French. You probably have French viewers. Let's see if I understand.
No, but is it intentional? Is what the right word is? If there's intention of signing people from here to the label?
100%. Yeah.
Is there like A&Rs that are like
A&Rs
people?
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not an A&R. Like, I don't know exactly what the breakdown is, but like definitely signing people from Canada, not just in Toronto, but signing people from Canada is the goal. Let's rep our home country for sure. Instead of our artists going to the States and signing there. We've seen over the last how many decades, right? Yeah.
So, do you have some that come to mind that maybe like some listeners should know about that are new in the game kind of thing, or new to the scene to like that? Like you're on,
yeah,
that
for sure.
Not everybody's on right now.
Lots of artists in the city coming up, like King Croft, Preston Pablo, Nilo Blues is a great like R&B singer. Who else? I mean, everyone knows who Savannah Ray is here, but like I always love shouting out Savannah. Like she's such a talented person and a great person to be around. Period. Who else? I mean, you work with a lot of great artists too. Like, who are you listening to right now? Actually, let me flip this. Let me flip this right here.
There's so many. Honestly, like, I mean, some of the people that I run with like all the time are like, I mean, shout out Elio.
Yep.
Do you guys do Valley?
Yeah.
Okay. So UMG Artist Valley. You know, there's so many people. Other labels too. I have to shout out like Katie Tupper from Saskatchewan. There's so many good Canadian artists, signed and unsigned.
Yep.
So we'll have to talk about that.
Ruby Waters is one of my favorite unsigned. If we're thinking unsigned, I think she's so talented.
Yeah. There's so many. I mean, like the artists that I work for, mainly Elio, that are unsigned.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? from somebody that works at a label.
Do whatever you want to do. Is my thought of that. Yeah. I think whatever works for you, right? Yeah.
So working at Universal, what are some of the best moments that you've sort of lived so far? I mean, it's not been that long, but I know you just came back from LA. I don't know if that's a highlight for you.
Yeah, I guess no, LA was highlight. I didn't even like. I just decided, I think 6 months ago, that I just wanted to go to LA during this time.
Okay.
Because I knew, I just wanted to make connections. I just wanted to be out there and be around the scene and see how it was. And it turned out that people I knew were going, which was great. And it was just a great time. Yeah, that was probably the best highlight in the music industry. I'm not gonna lie. LA is a lot of fun. It's a great place to be. I still love Toronto a lot more, but like LA, I think I would call it like a great hub. Like everyone knows it's a great hub.
Of course, yeah.
You've been out there.
Yeah. I'm going next month as well.
Amazing.
You were there for Grammys week.
Yeah.
But not necessarily for work.
No,
right?
No,
you weren't wearing that UMG name tag out there or anything, but you you still went to events.
I still went to events. Yeah. That were even like outside, just
like any sort of events, like
music
industry events.
Yeah, there were a few like there was this lemon pepper event that like 21 Savage's DJ puts on, which is pretty cool. It was which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Trying to think of like good events. There was a 88 Rising event that one of my friends went to and was telling me about. There was a Roots one, which
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah,
that was nuts.
That was the night after the Grammys, or the night before?
The night before. I think the Saturday. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, Questlove is literally my idol.
Yeah. One of mine too.
Yeah.
Soulquarians, like one of the best.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, again, a couple weeks ago I said this, but I could literally spend multiple episodes just talking about the Soulquarians.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like, yeah.
As you should.
Yeah, as we should.
As we should.
Yeah. I often, like, even my parents know this, but if I went back to university, I'd want to do a thesis on Soulquarians.
Nice.
Yeah. There's still so much stuff that isn't talked about from those years. I think Questlove and D'Angelo have, like, hours and hours and hours of tape that haven't been listened to.
That's crazy.
Anyway, stay tuned.
You should write a book.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
You don't have to go back to school. You can just write it.
Yeah, some people have told me that too. Yeah, why spend the money? Just wanted to talk about marketing in general in the music industry. Now we are. Just wanted to talk about marketing in the music industry a little bit, because that's where you're at now.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, before I even get into these questions, did you know, or if we told Trent when you started the creative industries program that you'd be in marketing, what would he have said?
No way.
No?
Yeah, no way. No way. I honestly did not see the marketing coming in until like literally like third year, that internship.
Right.
Yeah. Because there was no thought of marketing before that.
Yeah. How has your perception changed from then for marketing? Not necessarily knowing, basically, how did your perception change from then until now?
Well, I really wanted to be an A&R, actually. I wanted to, like, help sign artists and develop artists. And my perception changed from marketing because we still kind of get to help do that. Like, in a way, we get to help shape the artist's image and help fulfill their goals and get them to a place where they feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So we're still involved in the way that I wanted to be an A&R.
Yeah.
Which is a great thing that has changed my perspective on marketing, period. Like in the music industry specifically, because I don't know how marketing works in a tech industry or whatever.
Right. So it's like way more hands-on than you thought.
Yeah, no, 100% it is. Yeah.
Are you in constant conversation with these artists, or is it mostly their management?
Oh, it's mostly with their management, and then sometimes with the artist one-on-one. They come into the office, we have to do content, or we have to do our digital team handles that. And yeah.
What, I don't know if you can talk about this, but what's the process like when, let's say, creating a marketing campaign, or let's say doing an activation? Are artists coming in talking with the whole team about what they're looking for, or what their vision is?
Sometimes. Yeah. More often than not, the goal is to carry out their vision for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Unless we put together a vision, they okay it. They're always going to have eyes on it for sure.
There's always like a back and forth kind of thing.
Always.
How do artists feel about marketing, the marketing machine of a label? And this question comes from the reality of 2023, because I work with a lot of independent artists that are still doing very well. And oftentimes when I think about a label, I think about the marketing power of a label and the label being a bank. What, I don't know if it's a conversation, but what it has it shifted a bit for you, and also for artists that are coming in and being like, oh, I didn't know labels could kind of do this for us.
Yeah, no, I mean, those are more conversations that A&R has with our artists, like directly.
Yeah.
But I personally,
like
from making music before or being around musicians before I even worked this job, like have definitely seen a shift in how they're treated and they're treated in the most utmost respect, and the goal is just to help the artist. So like, you know what I mean? And the power behind it. Yeah. There is significance for sure. Like, and there's a reason why people still sign to labels. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Totally. So there's also an artist, obviously, that not obviously, but that I've worked with in the past through Elio, is Charlie XCX.
Okay.
For the longest time, her branding and her her sort of message out there was independent,
Yeah.
while also still being signed to a label. Now, in the last year or so, with her latest record, Crash, they sort of leaned towards the label more, and they found a lot of success doing that.
Oh, okay.
So, is there, in your position, has there sometimes been some artists that weren't necessarily into that whole like label kind of marketing sort of machine?
I'm sure there's been instances, not in my professional experience, but I'm sure it happens all the time. It's like working with anyone. Like if you don't come to an agreement, someone's gonna have an ego about. It's like someone's not gonna like someone else's idea always. You know what I mean? So you have to find a middle ground. You have to work on it. And you have to come to an agreement for sure. So
is there sometimes some let's say campaign or activations that are sort of look like it's more like personalized, in the sense that we're seeing a shift in social media specifically about how like it's becoming like more DIY. And you're seeing a lot of like TikToks that are just shot from an iPhone, like with the camera facing the person that's taking the TikTok. Do you recognize that shift, especially maybe even from a marketing perspective in your day-to-day conversations, that it's like, okay, our content now needs to be more like personal, or like it needs to be like people on the street walking by kind of being like, oh, what do you think about the new Daniel Caesar song or whatever? Or is it like, I feel like it's less like lights, camera, action, and now what do you think about this record from your living room?
Personally, like, I'll answer that question personally. I think it should be personable for sure, because there's so much music right now, right?
Yes.
So like, you have to connect with these fans, or you have to grow your audience. You can't do it by being manufactured or not showing your personality.
Right.
Because who am I? I don't know who you are if I'm just seeing you play your music, or it's like just your music video.
Right.
And if I don't see the TikToks of you just having fun with your friends, like, I need something to connect to you. And that's probably why, like, you're seeing more of a trend of not low quality content, but like just natural content.
Right.
Because people want that. People want that more often when there's so many artists, right? It's like it's hard to pick out from the whole plethora of talent that we have, right?
Right.
You got to stand out somehow, and connecting with someone is way easier than being someone you're not.
Yeah. What do you think about the notion of quality versus quantity?
Yeah. I mean,
in a general sense, but in the sense that
on TikTok they say quantity over here. They say quantity for sure. But again, I'm not on digital either, so I don't know like the algorithm or anything.
Right.
But they definitely do say post as much as you can. Right. Post twice a day, post 3 times a day if you're an upcoming artist.
Yes.
But quality always, like in anything you do, it should be quality over quantity, right?
Totally. Mm-hmm. What are some specific, because we've been talking specifically more about music marketing in a general sense. Mm. What are some things that in the Black music division that are specific to you in your day to day? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Enough talking about, and I mean, I'm talking to myself when I'm saying enough about, but enough talking about just like these overall marketing things. But what about you in your day to day? What differs you from somebody, let's say, in the digital marketing or the overall kind of marketing kind of divisions?
Yeah. So we're putting together plans for these activations and these things that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
And we're just taking meetings with the management teams. Like, we're the direct link to the management team, most of the time.
Yeah. For the whole label?
No, just for our projects.
Okay.
So like every team has artists that we're working with directly. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, day to day is just trying to promote our artists. Basically, like anything we can think of promoting our artists.
Yeah.
Marketing, promotion. That's literally what we're doing on a day to day basis. Yeah.
And is it like a meeting in the morning and then a meeting in the afternoon kind of thing?
It's all meetings. It's just a lot of meetings. I'm not gonna lie.
Are you with a lot of meetings with, let's say, potential, I don't even know how to say this, but partnerships with, let's say, connecting, let's say, Savannah Ray with, I don't know, another company, let's say in Canada, that are doing some promotion at Yonge and Dundas. Like, are there those types of meetings where you're like representing the artist in partnership with somebody else? Let's say like a partnership, a marketing partnership or something.
Yeah, that's also like another department.
Okay,
like,
okay.
I mean, like our brands team would handle something like
Okay.
that. But like, the point of the marketing person is that we would be on that call. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right,
we would
okay.
be across everything.
Right.
We're across everything for our artists.
Representing that artist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you're telling me, what I understand, please tell me if I'm not understanding correctly, is that you represent the artists in multiple conversations with other marketing departments.
It's like being a product manager. So like
Right.
the other teams will come to us and we will work with the other teams.
Right.
To fulfill out these ideas for this artist that the artist wants. Yeah.
Okay, that's sick.
So it's like a center. it's like a center point of like for the artist. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay, that's really sick.
Yeah.
I love that because you're representing the artist. So, like you were saying, you're getting a little bit of that A&R.
Yeah,
it's sort of also getting.
Yeah, and we work with our A&R team closely. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we're involved in everything, which is nice.
Are A&R people in the meetings with you when you're talking to the artist?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so they're also representing the artist at the labels.
100%. Yeah. They do the artist relations for sure. Like, not gonna discredit
no, of
A&R
course.
team at all, but yeah, they do. Yeah. But even then, they come to us and they. Like the project manager, like one of my bosses would, they would still discuss with them on like what the next directions of this single is. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So if we're getting like very specific here, and I know we've talked about a little bit of day-to-day stuff, but let's say like today, if you can talk about it.
Yeah.
What was your day like today? Is that a thing?
Today.
Yeah. I know. You had a big day, but
yeah, I was like, what was I like today? I forgot already.
Yeah.
Meetings, a lot of meetings.
Yeah.
Okay. Strategy meetings, just strategizing
with a bunch of different artists.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, mostly like next plans, because you know how like it works. Like artists who are in cycle and some artists aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you, for example, like Elliot's on cycle, like she's going on tour, yada. She probably has releases coming out.
Yeah.
Those are the ones we're really focused on right now until the other artists are on cycle. Like there's some off cycle right now that we wouldn't have a meeting about for the next few months. Right. So there's a few.
So for those who don't know what on and off cycle is basically a cycle is basic. How do I say this? It's like when an artist is either promoting for a tour, promoting for a record, promoting for singles. It's basically like when they're on cycle is when they're not writing, basically. Is how I see it from an artist perspective. Is you're off cycle when you're either on a break or if you're writing or both. And when you're on cycle, you're talking to people like Trent at their label to promote.
Yeah, to promote and finalize next steps and anything we can do to make the vision come alive, basically, right? Yeah.
Crazy. Do you have any dream projects? Not maybe at the label, but also just for yourself?
Yeah. Dream project. I think doing something like getting to meet Kendrick Lamar and doing something with him would be a dream. For sure. Or like we talked about Questlove and the Roots, like imagine doing something with them. That'd be unreal.
Yeah. And if you did get to work with them, what would you want to do?
Off the top, I don't even know what I would want to do. I'd first of all be nervous. Too nervous to even meet Quest.
Yes.
But just something like impactful. Like Quest does a lot of just talking about him and specifically out of the whole Roots. Does a lot. Like he just orchestrated the Grammy performance, the 50th hip hop anniversary, right?
Yeah.
And I think I would want to do something combining film with Quest at the same time too.
Okay.
Because he does a lot of things in that space as well.
Yes.
I just feel like maybe I just want to work with Questlove. Maybe I just want to know him specifically.
No, you're talking to the right person. Quest does so much stuff. He's an author. He used to be a professor at NYU. He did Summer of Soul last year.
Yeah,
that won the Oscar. Documentarian, obviously music director, band leader, drummer, producer. Produced some of my favorite records of all time with the Soul Aquarians. Yeah. He's a band leader, live band leader, especially on Jimmy Fallon with the Roots.
He doesn't sleep.
He literally doesn't sleep.
Yeah. I don't know how he does all these things, and he's been doing it for like 30 years too.
Oh my gosh, how can I forget? He's also a podcaster.
Is he? I didn't know that.
What?
Okay. What's the podcast? What's the recommendation for everyone?
The recommendation, please. And this podcast is also highly influenced by Questlove Supreme, his podcast, which is on iHeartRadio. Shout out iHeartRadio.
Yes.
Cloud Machine Podcast is also on iHeartRadio. Shout out to them. His podcast is insane. He has like some of the best guests on.
Sick.
Music industry people, label heads, musicians, artists, whoever. One of the most recent episodes that I've seen anyway is there was Organized Noise one, producers from Atlanta. There was also Greg Fillinganes as well, legendary synth and keyboard player for Michael Jackson, etc. Anyway, shout out Questlove. We love Quest. What about Kendrick Lamar? What do I want to do? I mean, he's so specific, especially with PG Lang. And Dave Free as well. Like it'd have to be like.
I think I would want it to make it a visual experience for sure.
Yeah.
Like his visuals are crazy. Like PG Lang's visuals are crazy.
Yeah.
Doing something visually appealing.
Yeah.
For fans would be amazing. It'd be a dream come true. Yeah. Because I am a fan, so I would enjoy it.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah.
I got a Kendrick tattoo when I was in LA. I had to.
What?
Yeah. Not his face or anything, but like it's a To Pimp a Butterfly tattoo.
Oh my gosh!
It's a butterfly with a crown over to like the Basquiat crown.
Oh my gosh, that's so sick.
Because I wanted something unique and something referencing the music at the same time. Yeah,
you'll show me later.
Yeah.
And we're back with the last segment. Do you have any tips on getting into this industry for anyone that's new to the business, that wants to get into it, that's even done it at a university or college degree but want to switch kind of industries? Also, before you do answer that, I want to highlight that you're the first guest that we've had that's really like industry.
Okay.
Because a lot of the guests in the past, or all 4 guests in the past, have been more on the artist side of things. So it's fun to have these conversations that are more in the thick of it.
Into the thick of it.
Into the thick of it. So, yeah, any tips on getting into it?
I'd say volunteer. I volunteered for Canadian Music Week, and I feel like that's what started this whole industry thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I volunteered at Canadian Music Week, made connections there, and that led to the internship. And I know, like, us going to school also helped with that. Yes. For sure it did.
Yeah.
But I knew some people there already through volunteering for Canadian Music Week.
Okay.
So just volunteer.
Was that before?
Yeah, that was before. That was like
program?
First year.
Oh, okay.
I did it during school.
Okay.
But it just in prep, I guess, of our internship, or prep of us leaving our program period, I just wanted to meet as many people as I could.
Yeah.
And just connect with them and see what people were doing.
Mm-hmm.
I got to tour, manage for that whole week basically, which was awesome. Like at a couple venues across the city, which was fun. And just getting to meet artists and their managers and the teams and everyone helped a lot, right?
Crazy. Do you remember how you got in contact with people to volunteer? Is it just
you can just apply. Yeah, you can just apply on specifically for Canadian Music Week, you can just apply.
Yeah.
And
they'll choose you.
But I also volunteered for like film festivals that I saw pop up. You just have to keep your eye open. Just do your research. You can literally Google Film Festival Toronto or Film Festival wherever you live. and just get your name out there, because the film people will know the music people. I will guarantee that. So you'll meet people in this industry that know people in this industry.
And if they know each other in Toronto, they'll definitely know each other in Sudbury, Ontario. Or
exactly.
Or wherever you're from.
Or Newmarket, or whatever. Yeah.
Totally. Any other tips?
I'd say if you do get the opportunity to get in there and meet someone who's already in the field that you want to work in, ask them as many questions as possible.
Right.
Make sure they're interested in what you're asking, because people love talking about themselves, for sure.
Right.
And they love. There's a lot of people who love dropping tidbits and giving information. They love helping. Like, there's a lot of people in this industry genuinely just kind-hearted. They will help you. Just ask as many questions as possible and get their number, get their email, get their LinkedIn, whatever.
Right.
Make that connection. It's all about connections. And we all know
all
that, right? It's all about the connections.
No, for real.
Which is like such a cliche to say, but it really, really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just get your foot in the door.
You were saying earlier about, and I just want to talk about it again because it was such a great tip. Or just experience that you had was taking meetings with literal people that aren't even in your department at those internships. If you're volunteering, if you're doing if you're even just doing a couple of days work at this place, get involved. Do you have any specific stories or some other tidbits on that specific kind of tip?
Yeah, well, I guess I'll go through each experience. Canadian Music Week, I talked to everyone. I would even talk to the owners of the venues, right? Because those owners of the venues know people who have come through and they could connect you, get their numbers, talk to everyone, because everyone wants to share in this. They're nice people. Like, they all want to share something. At Peer, I wanted to talk to everyone across the world that part of our company, like, you know what I mean, like in the UK, and see what they're doing and get their knowledge on the industry, because they might know someone who's here or over there,
right?
You know what I mean? And then at Universal, when I was an intern, I wanted to take meetings with every single department, and whoever would from that department take a meeting with me, I would ask an extensive list of questions and just get their info, what their day-to-day is, kind of like this, and I would interview them like I was on a podcast.
Yeah, you do a podcast episode.
I'd be a podcast episode. It was just a quick Zoom meeting because I did my whole internship during the pandemic too, so I didn't meet any of these people.
Yeah, they had the time to talk.
They had the time to talk. So I just took meetings with everyone, made sure they didn't forget me.
Yeah,
added them on LinkedIn after.
Totally.
And it helped. It helped a lot. Because I'll even say the connection is crazy. Like, my Peer Music boss knew someone from Canadian Music Week. My Universal boss knew someone from Peer Music.
Totally.
And you know what I mean?
It's all about connections.
It's all about
connections. I can't even say it so too many times. It's all about connections. Even if you're a musician, reach out to people, DM people, slide into the DMs.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, it's a little less professional, but than like a LinkedIn or something. But do it. Don't be afraid to reach out. I think that's like the number one tip out of this podcast in general. I'd like to thank Trent Hurst for being with us this week. It was so great to talk industry with you, man. Again, you're one of the first guest to really talk about the meat and potatoes really of the industry and what a label really is like, and that day to day. So it was great to even just chop it up, talk about it.
Yeah,
and
thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's been great.
I also want to thank everybody that's been listening to Cloud Machine all over the world. It's been kind of crazy to see the map that I get on my analytics or whatever, seeing people all over the world listening to it. So thank you, everybody. Again, I like to keep it interactive, so please comment on YouTube or any streaming platforms. We'd love to answer all your questions. Ask my next guest those questions, and I'll answer them as well. Thanks again. Stay safe. See you next week.
I was like vibing. I was vibing until that.
Do you know what that is?
No, what is it?
It's the Spider-Man flute theme
Oh
song.
shit.